Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. Today we're going over new or just recently updated massive Skyrim mods. Specifically, the quest mods that will undoubtedly make you want to play Skyrim again, if not just to re-experience the entire game, then to at least complete these new quests that just came out. Maybe it's just me, but I hate seeing massive expansions and new quest mods and not being able to actually play them. So if there's any type of mod that would make me want to play Skyrim again in 2024, it'd be a quest mod. But without further ado, let's dive in because these are some massive quests, and make sure if you end up enjoying one of these or just downloading them, make sure to endorse the mod authors for their hard work because they most likely deserve it. But yeah, let's dive right in. The first quest mod bringing us to Whiterun for what is most likely the most simple quest of this entire video, and of course it deals with Belethor, because Belethor just had to be a man of his words, I guess.
Friend, I am in need of your assistance. Remember when I said if I had a sister, I'd sell her in a second? Well, I did have a sister, and I am ashamed to say it, I did sell her. It was a mistake, and it was only supposed to be temporary.
Belethor's Sister Quest is a quest mod that makes you travel all across Skyrim speaking to known NPCs. No new ones were added, nor were lines really changed.
Don't hurt me, you win. It is all in this note.
Hence why this quest can be added at any time in your playthrough, even right now. That is the author's words, not mine. And because of this, everything is completely voiced. Every NPC line is spliced from vanilla lines, so you will hear the vanilla voice lines. What's great about this mod in my opinion is the fact that even though Belethor sold his own sister, which by far is the worst of everyone, but everyone else sold her as well. And it's your job to find her current employer, for lack of better word, so that you can actually save her and buy her back. And of course, the places that you end up because of this quest will require you to have a bit of fighting skill, but it should work out, right? Well, you might die a bit first.
I am back home again, thanks to you, of course. Listen, you're a pretty good person. It was nice meeting you. Maybe we can be friends in the future.
This next quest though might require you to break a few of your moral codes and work with Maven Blackbriar.
Roots should be near the water by Merryfair Farm. You may relay my word to begin the job, and collect the plant we require.
This quest is called SIRENROOT, Deluge of Deceit. This quest has you form a party to go diving into an underwater location that would probably be 100 times easier if you actually played as an Argonian. Otherwise, you will want to bring a few breathing potions with you. This quest starts off pretty peacefully, featuring some of the best visuals I've ever seen in any DLC size mod. And yes, this is definitely going to be DLC size, but I guess that kind of depends on how fast and how smart you are with this quest, because this quest can last well over 4 hours, and I'm not ashamed to say that I would most likely take that long to complete this. SIRENROOT features, I would say, easy puzzles for you to solve, which would end up being why this takes so long for most people. It requires you to retrace your step and activate mechanisms that would change the layout of the dungeon and open pathways previously inaccessible. So you have to kind of keep track of things going on around you, or you might just end up lost here.
How did we get separated? We weren't that far apart. She was clearly right about those ruins.
But trust me, being lost here isn't the worst part, it's the enemies. Because in this crypt there's dead elves that try and prevent you from finding the secret to this dungeon. This quest has the best visual that I've ever seen in any quest mod, with also wonderfully placed enemies. And the puzzles that's placed all around this place are quite challenging. You can challenge this dungeon at any time, but you're going to be here for a while, so you might want to come prepared with at least a lot of water breathing potions and a lot of health potions, because there isn't that many laying around. Every puzzle will have a hint, and as you get more of the lost adventurers of your party, they will help you through the dungeon. So this place isn't hard to beat at all. In my almost 2 hours of playing this, I experienced no bugs, just a lot of frustration failing puzzles. But just as I said, there is always a hint somewhere. Up next, we have probably the most popular Skyrim mod that isn't a basic requirement to even start modding Skyrim. We have the Legacy of the Dragonborn. Everyone mostly knows about this and the massive museum that it adds in Solitude to your Skyrim, but it just recently got a massive update, expanding on and adding even more additions to your Skyrim, and also fixing tons of bug report.
The Hall of Lost Empires, Hall of Oddities, also connects to the museum office. If you cannot find me in my office, you will...
This museum questline revolves around finding lost treasures around Skyrim, When you first read the description, at least for me, I thought it was basically just a new storage system for Skyrim because I don't really collect things in Skyrim, but this is so much more. It has so many new artifacts of Skyrim that you can use before even bringing it to the museum, or you can just bring it straight to them and where they'll display it. And you can also just quickly take it right back. It's never a crime, you can use anything that's placed in here. Every piece of the museum has its own story connecting to different things around Skyrim. And also, none of the items that are added by this mod are just new items made from their head. It all has some type of lore based on the Elder Scrolls. And not just Skyrim, you might even find fan favorite items from previous games that I won't name because that kinda ruined the fun for you. My time using Legacy of the Dragonborn has completely changed my opinion of it. I no longer just see it as a pure storage system, but instead I look at it as a completion system for Skyrim. So as you progress through the story or just wandering around traveling Skyrim, and as the displays start to fill up, you'll feel more and more as if you've really done everything in Skyrim. So now with Legacy of the Dragonborn, instead of just feeling like you've done everything in Skyrim, now you'll be able to see every bit of your progress as you progress through the story. What's also a cool little thing to add is that most of the items that the museum added are already placed around Skyrim. So you could find an item without even having visited the museum in the first place. So that might lead you to selling some of the stuff based on the value. But trust me, you'll be getting so much more money if you actually give it to the museum than say if you sold it to Belethor. Because I mean, you only paid 110 gold for your sister. And the worst part is that was after threatening him. Up next, this one, instead of adding a completely new quest, this mod expands on a pretty much forgotten about vanilla quest to Skyrim. But I guarantee once you have this mod, you won't be forgetting about it anymore. This quest expansion is called the Taste of Death quest add-on. This revolves around cannibals in Skyrim. You can either side with them or kill the girl on the first encounter. And that pretty much ends the quest.
We need someone to investigate. I'm sorry to drag you into Markarth's problems, but about the cave.
But now with this mod, you pretty much get a quest to wipe them all out and feel as if you've actually completed something this time. And of course that means things are going to get quite bloody, featuring tons of new enemies for you to fight and level up your character. There's also two little missed features that you probably want to add to this mod, such as the Ring of Namira being cursed, so upon taking a quest, it will be placed in your inventory, and until you drop it, the only way to lower hunger is to feed on corpses. And then there's the second feature, which actually makes the boss added by this mod have two phases where he transforms into quite a grotesque creature. But I kept that a secret so that you can actually view it for yourself when you download this mod. But of course, that's not the end of everything either.
Talos, save us. How could this have happened? I'm putting my city in your hands. Deal with them.
And the last job for you is to find the last remnants of the cannibals, and they just had to be civilians living in Markarth. But the outcome for them is up to you. You can either place them in jail, or you can go the much more bloody route and kill every single one of them. So at the end of the day, every outcome of this questline is up to you.
Excellent. You have done Markarth a tremendous service. Here is your reward.
Up next by the same mod author, featuring the same kind of support but for another Daedric prince, with the simple quest called Boethiah's Calling, alternate quest line. And this one unfortunately gets bloody as well.
Here, in the mountains to the northeast. Trust me, there's a shrine there. I've never set foot on the grounds, but always wanted to.
Unfortunately, this one though takes some of that choice away from you.
Oh, what happened? It worked. I suppose there's no point in concealing the truth any longer.
Of course, everything was a lie told by that elf, and it's up to you to get your revenge, and I'm all for revenge stories, so I already love this mod as we go on. But first, we have to make it out of the area alive, which at first glance might not be that hard considering everything's dead.
Something's happened. I can't quite remember.
But as you can see, that all changes, and it changes so very fast. You go from being surrounded by dead bodies to pretty much fighting for your life for the rest of this quest line. And maybe that's just me, but that just makes the final revenge of this quest so much better. Even though the mod page might advertise that the 70 new voice line this mod adds changes the mod completely, the quest changes that are actually made by this mod is definitely the star of the show, because as soon as you think you're making progress, it just gets harder and sets you back, unless you fight your way through all of it. Skyrim might seem pretty peaceful when you're exploring, but this is one of those quest lines that kind of remind you of the dark and bloody nature really happening. And this mod just expands on that so much more. But just like the previous mod, the ending of this quest is pretty much left up to the player. The next quest takes an expansion on the Dark Brotherhood and turns it into the mod author's vision, and in a way that I know you all will love, but unfortunately, that quest expansion doesn't have to do with Astrid being alive, so unfortunately she dies again. This quest mod is called Unfaltered Virtue. Of course there's other versions of this, but this one takes a different turn.
You're not lying. This is the Blade of Woe, the legendary dagger of Lucien Lechance himself.
This mod makes an expansion on the good side of the Dark Brotherhood questline, and like I said, I know there's a few other ones, but this one does things that I've never seen before, or expected anyone to try considering how hard it is, like expanding on Commander Morrow, giving him new voice lines. There are quite a few quest lines that aren't voiced in this, but most of them are. This mod makes it so you have a chance to save every single victim of the Dark Brotherhood, even Lorius, if you chose to have him not help Cicero or just didn't do the quest at all like most of us. He isn't forced to die for our choices. Unfortunately, every part of this quest isn't up to you. Some things are scripted to happen, and honestly, that makes this so much better. Just knowing you can't save everyone always makes the story better, but at least knowing you had a chance to try.
You're not sweet-talking your way out of this. Not after what you did.
Also, fun fact, I killed the guard before knowing what I was supposed to do there.
Oh, by the 9, you've got to be kidding. You kidnapped a child? Do you have any idea how bad this looks?
This is definitely a new mod you're going to want to try just to re-experience the Dark Brotherhood questline, at least once. And that was it for today's video, guys. I know I tried to keep away from the super popular mods. I did feature 2, but it's kind of surprising how most people haven't even tried those yet. But let me know what you guys thought down below in the comments, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Peace and love, guys.